Bim! Guess what? It's just gone 10 o'clock on a Sunday. It's 23rd of the 6th, 2024, and it's a weekly news review and opinion roundup. Easy for me to say. So yeah, this is where we look at the news from around the world over the last 7 days. Discuss it. Don't forget to join in the chat room and analyse it, and I'll give my opinion on it as well. Now, the majority of the news this week has been about the election. There's been other stuff going on as well. Hi, Alan, including Jay Slater, someone who no one had really heard of until this week. Young 19-year-old lad who's gone missing, but is there more to it than meets the eye? Well, we won't know yet, because, well, we don't know what's happened to the poor lad. Hopefully everything is okay. It's a bit stronger than I thought it was. Summer's around the corner, so I'm on the gin. Apparently we're about to have a massive heat wave, so I'm very excited. So lots of things to discuss over the process of the next hour or two. I'm trying to reduce this down a little bit in the number of hours I do, but it just doesn't seem to be going that way. So we're going to go straight to the week's news, which basically includes all the news that's going on that I've already mentioned. So Monday the 17th, Reform UK launches their contract, not a manifesto, we're doing a contract, which tackles immigration, tax and the NHS. They want to scrap VAT on energy bills, 20p off fuel tax, scrap the net zero. Meanwhile, Labour claim what? Something will go up to 4,500 kilograms after they assume that 71 billion spending gap. All the Conservatives, which, yeah, basically everyone's slagging everyone else off. Greece accused of sending migrants back with the loss of life in the Mediterranean. Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, disbands his war cabinet and will now use various other methods of putting across what he's on about. God knows if it's going to change anything. Angela messaged me and asked me to pass on this. She can't go tonight, she's suffering badly with a migraine. Okay, fair enough. Sir Ian McKellen falls off stage in London and ends up in hospital. The 85-year-old actor. Tuesday, Putin visits North Korea. More of that later. Dream Frequency, say hello. Kieran, hello. Michael, hello. Putin visits North Korea. He hasn't got many friends to go on holiday with, so he goes to North Korea, sees Kim Jong-un. Sounds good, doesn't it? An Ipsos opinion poll suggests Labour to get the largest majority since World War II, but don't believe opinion polls. CPS not to bring charges to the police officers who first looked into the murder of Stephen Lawrence 31 years ago. Basically the first reported racist murder that certainly took the imagination of the country. Anyway, the original police officers didn't do anything wrong apparently. Yeah, right. Justin Timberlake, he's arrested for being drunk whilst driving. His mugshot looks like it's a photo shoot. He's a very handsome man, it would appear. Unlike the Photoshop, if you remember, of Donald Trump, which was not. I know it's one I would sooner have on a t-shirt. More of that later. Forensic accountants at the post office inquiry were sacked in 2015 for getting too close to the truth. And they described it at the inquiry as awful. Joey Barton apologised to Jeremy Vine and pays him £75,000 for calling him a nonce. And in the tweet X that he posted, called him a nonce again. British teen missing in Tenerife. Jay Slater, aged 19, disappeared on the Monday. This was on the Tuesday. Do I have a cat, yes sir? Yeah. Wednesday, police officer arrested over bets on election date. He was part of the PM protection unit, which means that they may or may not have had inside information, we don't know. Jay Slater, the 19-year-old, no sign of him on Wednesday. Inflation now at 2%, which basically means prices are still going up, but they're going up at 2%, not 11%, which is better than what it has been. And I asked the question, have you noticed yet? Well, I haven't noticed, so I dare say you haven't noticed either. I just give my cat dry food. Do you think that's good or not? It's, whatever your cat eats is the best thing to say. I would have thought on that. So, oops, where are we? There we go. So yeah, joined April the 22nd, 2022. Okay. SNP say they will get a mandate for independence if they get a majority in Scotland in the manifesto, but won't say that they'd drop the independence if they didn't get a majority. So yeah, basically they're back to the one-trick pony malarkey, which is how it goes, isn't it? Russia signs what? Russia signs over foreign aggression. Oh, pact over foreign aggression, and now he's gone to Vietnam, Saigon. Record-breaking heat in the USA, and lots of wildfires as well. And tragedy is a 7-month-old girl is killed after bitten by the family dog. The family dog was not an illegal dog. So yeah, tragedy there. I mean, it's just horrendous. The family pet turns on a member of the family. Usually when you see videos of dogs with small children, they're very attentive and everything, but obviously something spooked the dog. Anyway, it's been humanely destroyed. He wants independence, like Sturgeon did. They all want independence in the SNP, but I think the people of Scotland are wise to that now. Thursday the 20th, more errors of judgment revealed as 3 more high-profile Conservatives looked into over bettings on the date of the election. This is before the election was announced. Donald Sutherland passes away at the age of 88. Interest rates remain at 5.25% despite the inflation going down to 2%, which you might think is a political thing. The Bank of England may be thinking, you know what, we can do this. We can put the interest rates down and people will feel it, but if we do that just before election, it might benefit the Tories, so we won't do, which might benefit the Labour Party or Reform. Meanwhile, the 19-year-old is still missing in Tenerife, Jay Slater, and this is apparently after he went for a walk in the mountains. He went to a after party, after a festival, got in a car with 2 men and went to the other side of the island, and then for whatever reason the men didn't drop him off. He decided to walk home, I say home, to the hotel, which would have took 11 hours. But he had no water and 1% charge on his battery, so the whole thing just seems weird. Supreme Court rules that planning licenses to get oil should take into account the burning of said oil and or coal, and therefore the impact on the perceived global warming, which basically means they've got politicised as well. So when your lights go off because of people like Just Stop Oil and other tossers who've gone on this route, just remember, we're doing it to save the planet. Bullshit. Friday, the 21st of June, the 5th day of the search for Jay Slater, who is still missing in Tenerife. His family have flown over. Farage claims the Russian invasion of Ukraine was caused by the EU and NATO expanding into the east. So basically, UK and NATO have been absorbing countries that were once in the Soviet Union, and this has spooked Putin to invade Ukraine in order to save Russia from the Western scumbags, basically. Stephen's on. Tags, Kelly and Rollo. And Rollo's a dog. I don't normally say that one, people. And Kelly as well. Welcome. Gang of cyber criminals published data which they've taken from NHS patient lists, including names and date of birth. All part of what I've been going on for a while now, which is the way of the future of warfare, which is going to be cyber activity, particularly with everyone going cashless, etc. Saturday the 22nd, which was yesterday, Nigel Farage won't apologise for telling the truth, in his words, about the NATO and EU instigating Ukraine war due to the expansion. He's not an apologist for Putin. He doesn't like Putin particularly, but he does blame the West for the invasion of Ukraine. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Images from the West Bank show an injured Palestinian soldier tied to the front of a truck after exchanges of fire. And there's also fire now travelling over the Lebanon-Israel border as well, as many people are now saying, terrorists mainly, that they want to destroy Israel. Israel has basically built a rod for its own back. Police in Spain decline the UK police offer of help in searching for Jay Slater. That Brian Blake man from Scam has been missing since December and he still hasn't been found. Dream Frequency says, thought Farage was correct on that point. I never really thought of it, but now he's mentioned it, you're like, you know what? And apparently he said it in 2018 as well. Yeah. 23rd of June, which is today. Power cuts at Manchester Airport causes chaos, many flight cancellations, holidays being cancelled and everything. They keep trying to put it back on again, but it keeps going off again, which reminds me of Die Hard 2, when the terrorists in the church basically took over the airports and got planes to crash into the ground. I don't think it's anything like that. More allegations on the Tories and election timing, bets on the timing of the election. A special church service for Jay Slater in his hometown. And there is breaking news, heat alert in the UK with temperatures of 30 degrees plus heading to us with immediate effect. We are going to be hotter than places that are cooler than us. So if you do go out and about, beware. The heat is on its way, and if you suffer from various health issues, do take caution. Watch, Wigan Watch, Michael Bates. Angela's not around. Hi T. The last Wigan Watch, I go through lots of stuff that goes on with Wigan Town Centre and the involvement of a certain organisation. Got a FA fan set up in my bedroom. Alan says check Wigan Watch videos. Yes, indeed. Anyway, we're now on the world news. If you wait 30 seconds, I would imagine there'll be a link up to the last one of my Wigan Watches, which does go into detail about what is going on in Wigan and the involvement of a certain establishment and what happens when they're involved, which is basically called. See, I do that. I actually say that without actually saying it. I know. I'm getting impressed myself, I'll be honest with you. So yeah, we'll do that. There you go. I beat him to it. So 9 people currently watching, only 1 like. Don't forget, you can join in the chat. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me. That's the whole point of this. We chat about the news of the week and what's been going on in the world, like kind of thing. Anyway, we're now on the news as reported from different parts of the planet. I say that it's mainly Australia and America, and the way it's been done this week, it's Australia first and then America, because that's the way it works. So, is that? Oh no, this isn't. Oh no, that's yeah. We'll leave that one for now. So we've got this one, which I didn't see reported in the UK, to be fair, but there's been another horrendous train crash in. Hang on, what are we doing here? Another horrendous train crash in India, where at the time 15 people had died and 60 injured in a collision between 2 trains near New Jalpaiguri in India. 2 compartments of the Shida-bound Kurachanga Express derailed after colliding with a goods train, and it was all due to heavy weather, apparently. But either way, the train service in India, sadly, is not what we'd hope it would be. A group of residents in Sydney's east are calling on the Human Rights Commission to intervene on a proposed bike lane. The people of Australia are objecting to a cycle lane being put in that will hinder the majority of people who use public transport and motorised vehicles of their own fruition. And you're like, yeah, I never thought of that, but these can be used both ways. I mean, you've got the minorities going on and on and on about their human rights being violated over this, that and the other. But what about the human rights of the majority that are being violated by the violations of, not the violations, by other people going for the human rights of the minorities? I think, what's he called? Piers Morgan summed it up. Oh, I mentioned it, it must be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months ago, when he was interviewing someone, and it was to do with the NHS at the time saying that they're being told by people that they shouldn't assume someone's gender due to their physicality. They should wait for them to become conscious, if they were unconscious, to actually ask them what their gender identity is, which is absolute bullshit, let's be honest. But he said, if I was, I'm a man, I identify as a man, so if I'm injured or have an episode, a medical episode, and end up in hospital, why would I want the medical staff to refer to me as they and them rather than him and he? You're removing my human rights as a man to be identified as a man in a situation where I cannot tell people what I want to be identified as, which is absolutely true. Hi, Urban Blonde, welcome. So anyway, the Aussies have got the right idea, and people are objecting to their human rights being violated for cycle lanes being put in. Fantastic. JT and Rachel, hiya, hope you're good. Welcome to the chat. What the hell is your profile picture? I'm intrigued by that, but I can't get to it because of this stupid thing. Go to channel. Go to channel. Twice I've done this tonight. It's a car that's rolled over. It's not your car, is it? Jesus Christ. Okay. Completely different. To be fair, JT's not a newcomer, now there's Urban Blonde. So there you go. Anyway, we completely... I was watching a van mount, I think. Eating cheese found to help with mental well-being. Unhealthy ageing. This is Australia. Gouda news. Cheese could help you live to an happy old age. A study has found eating more cheese contributes to a strong mental well-being into old age, alongside income, education and occupation. So basically, it's just saying, like reducing TV watching, stopping smoking and increasing the amount of fruit one eats also has a powerful impact. Now, cheese to me makes me very ill. Diarrhea, migraines, severe migraines, diarrhea, vomiting. So it wouldn't help me get old, but I don't believe in dairy products being eaten and drank on a regular basis. People often say to me, you look young for your age, and I'm like, I take it as a compliment. Admitted, the age people think I am is creeping up as well, but it's at least on average 10 years younger than I actually am. No, Michael. Andrew Emerson, good evening. We're getting a lot of people joining the chat today, which is great. Yes, dairy products, our digestive system is not for dairy products. I mean, the old joke in, what was it, Little Britain with Bitty? Well, basically, that is probably the only milk that we are able to digest. Although, maybe not when you're in your 30s, hashtag just saying. Or even if you're over the age of 1. Australia's shortest day is this Friday. Winter solstice is coming. We've had the longest day, but obviously the other side of the planet, they've had their shortest day. The weird thing is that they are saying that their weather's going to get worse afterwards, and I don't understand this. I mean, I'm not a scientist, I may have mentioned this before, but why in Britain is summer after the longest day? Because surely the longest day should be the warmest day, but it's not. And in Australia, winter only kicks in after the shortest day, which makes me think if there is a God, it doesn't make any sense. But there isn't, so that's why it doesn't. The RBA, Royal Bank of Australia, leaves interest rates on hold. The Reserve Bank, the Australian the Reserve Bank of Australia, not Royal, has kept interest rates on hold with the cash rate to remain at 4.35%. Now, in the UK, ours is 5.something%. We'll come to that later. But I think we've actually come to it, thinking about it. We've actually done it. Is it 5.25? Yeah, 5.25. But our interest rate is high because of, apparently, Liz Truss, the war in Ukraine and Brexit. But in Australia, where none of them are really relevant, it's 4.35%, which, let's be honest, isn't that far away from what we are. It's less than 1%. So again, think before you vote. Because we have the Gulf Stream source driven from Africa. Yeah, the stream has been, the ziggy zaggy thing has been altered because of something. And I'm like, well, why in summertime do we not just put a big bomb up there in the atmosphere and just blow the Gulf Stream to where we want it to be? And then we get the weather we want. Oh God, I shouldn't have said that. Elon Musk could be on this now, wouldn't he? Shit. Justin Timberlake is arrested. Singer Justin Timberlake has been arrested and is accused of driving while intoxicated in New York's Long Island. What a bad man. He's a bad man. Nuclear plan unveiled. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has announced where the coalition plans to build 7 nuclear power plants if they win next year's federal election. Nuclear is the only way forward, because solar power only works when the sun's out, and yet in summer, that's most of the time. In the winter, it's hardly ever. Waste of time in climates like ours. Wind power only works when it's windy, but you have to build these massive structures that need maintaining all the time, so they're not cost effective. Nuclear power can be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, turned up and turned down. Nuclear power is the only way forward. You heard it here, 43rd. Nugget shortage prompts major changes to KFC menu. I'm like, KFC do nuggets? What? Not in the UK they don't. McDonald's do. And they're fairly tasty. Just all protesters deface ancient monuments. Yep, they did indeed. These two pricks decided to spray paint over the Stonehenge monument, one of the oldest structures in Europe, certainly the UK anyway. Yeah, I mean, absolute waste of space. What's that proving to anyone other than the Just Stop Oil protesters are absolute morons who should be locked up for a very, very long time indeed? Stonehenge, it's been there for 3, 4, 5,000 years. Okay, it didn't look like that when we rediscovered it in the 1800s, and it was put back together again. The structures on the top, most of them were replaced there in the 1800s. They're actually on the ground. But no, these people, they should all be shot. That would solve the problem, wouldn't it? Because how do they get anywhere? Do they all use electric vehicles using only recycled energy or carbon-free energy? Of course they don't. They're all absolute morons. Oh, hey up. Retropus KU. Sad to see the stone is damaged. Now, the National Trust got the paint off, the actual stone, in time for the summer solstice, but they couldn't get the paint off the what do you call it? Lichen. Is that a fungus? Is that a plant? I don't know. But anyway, the lichen that was on the stones, they couldn't get the paint off that without damaging it, which makes you wonder if Just Stop Oil protesters should be put in a room and just shot, the lot of them. Moss, okay, moss. And some of it is quite rare as well. The irony is this was reported in Australian news. You notice it didn't get a mention in the UK news. Warning over substituting cow's milk with soy, almond and oat alternatives. There's a health warning about the potential impacts of substituting cow's milk for plant-based alternatives for children and pregnant and breastfeeding and menopausal women, because our digestive systems are not designed for milk that isn't human. Anyway, they reckon that cow's milk's better than soy, almonds and oat alternatives. New research has revealed making the switch could leave those vulnerable groups to a risk of nutritional deficiencies. Yeah. Stick to the lady... No, don't stick to lady milk, that's just weird. Now, last week we had a picture of Prince William and his 3 children looking out to sea. Now, obviously, taken on the same day is a much happier picture. I kind of thought that the picture had undertones of the imminent demise of Kate, the Princess of Wales, because she's undergoing cancer treatment. But we've got a much happier picture this time of the 3 children and Prince William jumping over a bush. Nothing to do with Kate. It's a natural bush or structure on the sand dunes of wherever they were. Prince William and his 3 children have made an appearance on social media to mark the heir's 42nd birthday. The uncharacteristically casual photo was accompanied by the caption, "Happy birthday, Papa. We all love you so much. CX," indicating the message is from William's wife, Princess Catherine. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's a fun picture. It's a happy picture, and it's one of them pictures that you like. You kind of wish that you had a family picture like that. So that makes up from the other picture, which I thought was quite depressing and mournful. Anyway, life is wonderful. Driver in banana costume is wanted. A banana costume wearing hoon, Australian, is wanted by police after he allegedly did burnouts and injured a 21-year-old man in Canberra. Emergency services were called to Beard in Canberra's south at about 9:10 p.m. over reports a man had been struck by a loose tyre. Police believe the offender was driving a gold Ford Falcon sedan covered in graffiti, and he was also wearing a balaclava at the time. I mean, if you're wearing a balaclava, it's not going to take people off the fact that you're wearing a banana costume. So wearing a banana costume is probably more noticeable than a balaclava these days. Anyway, the car was found, looks like it's, I thought initially it'd been burnt out, but no, it's been spray painted, hasn't it, very badly, with a wheel missing, which is obviously the one that struck the gentleman. Hopefully everyone involved is okay. We don't know because we only get the highlights, we don't get any other news. Prince William and the kids meet Taylor Swift backstage. Only two of the kids. Obviously Taylor Swift is not suitable for Prince Louis. To be fair, Prince Louis's got the moves, so the chances are he would out-dance Taylor Swift. So for her sake and her self-esteem, they didn't take him to the concert in London. She is currently touring the world, making billions and billions of dollars. I do look at her and wonder if she's very clever, i.e. making lots and lots and lots of money, which is great, or if she's actually going to be one of the most dangerous people on the planet in the future, when she's basically got everyone loving her, and then she goes into politics and then destroys the planet. Or maybe I've been watching too much Doctor Who. Is that even a thing? Can you even watch too much Doctor Who? Well, you can at the moment, but more of that on a later thing. Large items tossed from Manhattan high-rise. Wild video shows a person throwing large objects from a midtown Manhattan skyscraper. Yeah, and you can see just about a chair, looks like a garden chair, being thrown out of a very high window in an apartment block in America. And I'm wondering if they watch my Wigan Watchers, because in one of the recent Wigan Watchers there was items being thrown out of the top floor of a apartment block, okay, only probably about 4 stories high, but still high enough in Wigan, over live area where people were walking onto the ground that is the former site of the galleries, although some of the items didn't make it over the fence and did end up on the pedestrian walkway. Anyway, if it was you, then I do not condone this in any shape, way or form. In America, because obviously we're in America now, eating cheese may help you live longer according to a study about well-being. No, it won't. It's dairy products. Dairy products are not natural. So yeah, don't eat cheese if you want to live to the ripe old age of 73. Pizza Hut abruptly closes 15 locations, and 120 more are seen in danger of closure in America. Pizza Hut has abruptly closed 15 locations in the Midwest, with more than 120 others at risk of closing down after the chain landed in a bitter legal dispute with a franchise. EYM Group, which owns and operates 142 Pizza Hut locations in Illinois, Indiana, Georgia and South Carolina and Wisconsin, was accused of defaulting on millions of dollars in payments that were allegedly owed to Pizza Hut by a deadline set in June. Now, if you don't know this, a lot of companies, particularly food chains, don't own all their outlets. They basically have private companies who own them. So for example, McDonald's in Wigan has got, as far as I'm aware, one McDonald's that is definitely owned by McDonald's, but many others that are not. And the one in West Horton, which isn't in Wigan, it's in Bolton, is owned by a franchise, which is why their prices are slightly higher. They're allowed to do that. Pizza Hut is obviously another one where you may go to a Pizza Hut, but it may not be owned by Pizza Hut itself. It's just the company that owns it, or the people who own it, pay a lot of money to get the branding, to get the ingredients, to get the recipes, to get the pricing structure from Pizza Hut, but they operate as an independent company. CEX are another one who do that. They're the second-hand company. They have original shops, i.e. shops owned by CEX themselves. For example, the one in Wigan is owned by CEX. However, the one in Leigh is owned by a franchise. Subway is the same as well. They have lots of franchises rather than owning every single one of them. It's a way of making money without actually risking the actual company's money. So basically you give the rights for someone to trade under your logo with all your various infrastructure that you have in the background, but you don't have the expense of having to pay the rents for the shops or pay the staff or anything else. You just basically take the money off the person or the company that own or pay you for the lease or the franchise, and it's just a way of making money without actually risking any money as well. So yeah, it looks like in America it's all gone a bit wrong. Oh dear. Justin Timberlake arrested for DWI in Sag Harbor. One thing you can't say about Justin Timberlake is there's much on him sagging. Justin Timberlake has been arrested for driving while intoxicated in the Hamptons. A court official said the sexy back singer, 43, was pulled over in Sag Harbor and taken into custody, a law enforcement source said. Timberlake is expected to appear in court for an arrangement on Tuesday, because this happened on Monday, and we'll see the mugshot later on, which I must admit is kid impressive, really is, particularly if you think he was drunk in charge. How Ian McKellen, 85, cried out in pain after falling off a stage during a London play. I mean, anyone who falls off stage is going to cry out in pain, but bear in mind he's 85 years old. I mean, this makes Madonna look soft, because a few years ago Madonna was unceremoniously dragged off a staircase at the Brits as she was performing and landed very uncomfortably on the floor, and she was in her mid-60s, but she carried on with her performance. But yeah, he cried out in pain and was calling for help when he fell off the stage, someone said. I mean, who would have thought? But anyway, the good news is he wasn't seriously hurt. He was released from hospital and hopefully will make a full recovery. He has a star on Wigan's Walk of Fame. Yeah, don't know why. Trump rallies in swing state Wisconsin days after calling Milwaukee a horrible city. President Donald Trump's Tuesday rally in Racine, Wisconsin, marks his first visit to the swing state since his conviction in Manhattan. And he did call Milwaukee a horrible city, and Milwaukee is very close to where he was. I mean, the guy's weirdly dangerous, but people love him. I don't know why. Before his summit with Kim, Putin vows they will beat sanctions together. Russian President Vladimir Putin thanked North Korea for supporting his actions in Ukraine and said their countries would cooperate closely to overcome US-led sanctions as he headed to Pyongyang on Tuesday for a summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Putin's comments appeared in an op-ed piece in North Korea state media hours before he was expected to arrive for a 2-day visit. Then he went on to Vietnam, Saigon. Yeah. Biden to unveil plans to hasten legal status for migrants in country illegally. Now this is what Labour are trying to do in the UK if they get in as well, allegedly. President Biden is set to announce new initiatives to ease the path to permanent residency for migrants living in the US illegally while married to Americans, according to multiple reports. The 81-year-old president's actions to speed up lawful status for people living in the country without legal permission follows his election year executive order in June that threatened to shut down the US-Mexico border. So mixed messages. If you get over here quick enough and marry someone who's American, you will get legal status. Black Barbie paved way for Hollywood's hottest celebrity dolls, apparently. Beyonce, Zendaya, Shona Rhimes and Rosa Parks. These A-listers and more are all dolled up thanks to this pretty plastic plaything. Black Barbie stormed into the toy scene as the dynamite antithesis in a Malibu sun-kissed pink-obsessed predecessor. Barbie 1980 with Richie Brown skin and a cutely curled coiffure. In the African-American doll not only became the first figure of colour to bear the blonde's name, but also opened the road for many other people to follow. Britney Spears posts cryptic cocktail photos hours after ex Justin Timberlake's DWI arrest. I mean, if anyone's got no way to throw stones because she's in a greenhouse, Britney Spears. Britney Spears has apparently broken her silence on ex-boyfriend Justin Timberlake's alleged drunk driving bust by posting a cryptic snack of her fruity cocktail on social media. The toxic singer, 42, took to Instagram to toast little things just hours after her ex bloodshot-eyed mugshot started being shared widely online. I mean, she's got no right to call anyone else for doing things wrong under the influence of alcohol and or drugs. It's Amazon Prime with it. Everything to know about the membership. Now, yeah, Amazon Prime. I have it. Why? Because I have to order lots of stuff for the shop that I cannot buy in Wigan, and I work in the shop 7 days a week, so I can't really go out and about looking for it. So I have to buy this stuff online on Amazon Prime. So in order to get free delivery, I have Amazon Prime. I've only watched on their streaming Clarkson's Farm, Grand Tour and James May, Our Guy in Japan. Then guess what? But nothing else. Is it worth it? I'm not sure, because I ordered some items this week, 4 items, £80, to be delivered to the shop. They were delivered to the wrong shop and then taken away and not delivered to my shop by the person who was doing the delivery. I then had to get into a bit of argy-bargy with Amazon about me getting it and not getting it. And they've now offered me a refund, but it's like, well, what am I paying for? I want the stuff delivered to my house or my shop or my mum's or wherever, and you can't even do that. It's not the first time this has happened. So Amazon at the moment, I wouldn't wee on them if they were on fire. How much does it cost? I think it's about £11 a month. So yeah, but I ordered quite a lot of stuff off them because the shop's getting busier. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reached out to Kate Middleton before her Trooping the Colour appearance. and they are desperate to mend the feud, says an expert, no doubt. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had reached out to Kate Middleton before her defiant return to the spotlight at last week's Trooping of the Colour ceremony. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too little, and it's certainly too late. I mean, they've slagged everyone off in the royal family, and now they want to be all like, oh, can we come back? Can we come back, please? No. Putin gets lavish welcome in North Korea with vows of support. Cheering crowds, probably held at gunpoint, and lavish ceremonies greeted Russian President Vladimir Putin in Pyongyang, where North Korean leader Kim Jong-un expressed full support for Russia's war in Ukraine and pledged stronger strategic ties with Moscow. An honour guard, including mounted soldiers and a large crowd of civilians held at gunpoint, gathered at the Kim II Sung squad by Twangding River. What? I can't pronounce these words anymore. Saying that was racist was a bad thing. Saying what was racist was a bad thing. Well. Oh yeah, we've done that one. Oh, Meghan and Harry. Alright, okay. I was getting... What? I went back then and have a look, but no, I couldn't see what it was. Oregon High School track and field coach claims he was fired for proposing open division for transgender athletes and give them an opportunity to participate. And Oregon High School track and field coach claims he was fired after he challenged state officials' policies on transgender athletes after he witnessed a trans athlete being booed during the state championship. I'm not sure exactly what he stands for, but it's a subject that needs to be discussed. And my opinion is, if you're a trans athlete, and there are many of them, why not have a trans athlete class? So you have the female and the male, and then you have a trans one as well. You know, it's no different to me than having the Paralympics. You know, I'm not saying they're disabled. Someone will say, oh yeah, you say that people who are trans are disabled. No, I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is we've got the scope to have multiple classes of races or events for multiple lots of people. A venomous snake found in child's bed attempting to blend in with stuffed animals. Right. I'm not reading the rest of this because this is absolutely nonsense. A snake has no comprehension of what a stuffed animal is in any way, shape or form. It's not attempting to blend in with the stuffed animals, nor is it probably even attempting to hide. It's probably just somewhere that is warm and comfy for a snake. So to say a venomous snake was found in a child's bed is fact, but attempting to blend in with stuffed animals is absolute nonsense. It would attempt... it would go anywhere that was warm and comfy and it would feel safe. That's all it's got. TikTok could face a lawsuit by DOJ, Department of Justice, over potential child privacy violations. The Federal Trade Commission said on Tuesday it had referred a complaint against the social media platform TikTok and its parent company ByteDance over potential violations of children's privacy. A source told Reuters the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, could resolve the probe into TikTok over alleged faulty privacy and data security practices by either filing suit or reaching a settlement. Alan says, hate snakes, they are the only thing that give me nightmares. It's a phobia with me. I don't have nightmares. Am I weird in the fact I don't have nightmares? I don't remember ever having a nightmare. Maybe I do have nightmares, I just don't remember them. 42,000 migrants have crossed the border since Biden's executive order, and thousands are still being released into the US, apparently. Some 42,000 migrants have illegally crossed the border with Mexico in the last days since President Biden's crackdown took effect. There's more to it than the President, the Prime Minister, whatever. There are people much higher up who are affecting this migrants thing that is going on, and we need to find out why and stop it. We won't, obviously. Heat dome takes over New York as temperatures and humidity soar. The worst is yet to come. Yeah, you see people like that sunbathing. Yeah, I do it as well, and I'm worse than that, to be fair, so sorry. The year's first heat wave is leaving blue-collar workers red in the face, and it'll only get more stifling over the week, according to the forecasters. For those whose jobs keep them tethered to the great outdoors, even the mercury somersaults into the high 80s Fahrenheit. The Big Apple, the only thing to do is to keep their cool. People are saying it's the warmest it's been in over 20 years in America. Bearing in mind they were warning that summer hadn't arrived not that long ago. Make your bloody minds up, that's all I can say. Make your minds up. Yeah. Second largest school district in US creates phone-free school day that bans devices even during breaks. The nation's second largest school district voted to ban the use of cell phones in the classroom. The Los Angeles Unified School District Board passed the phone-free school day policy in an effort to quell rising youth anxiety and cyberbullying associated with social media and clamp down on distractions in the classroom. Jay Slater found dead. Is that breaking news? If so, that is tragic. Although, sadly, not unexpected. Justin Timberlake likely to get a slap on the wrist if convicted on DWI charge, but not because of his fame. Justin Timberlake is likely to get a slap on his wrist if he's convicted of drunk driving, but not because of it. He has celebrity. A legal expert has said the Can't Stop the Feeling singer was arrested during a traffic stop on Sag Harbor early on Tuesday and would face a year in jail if he was found guilty. But his seasoned attorney said it more likely, because it's a first offence, just get a slap on the wrist and a hefty fine. Seems reasonable. Insane six-man golf brawl breaks out during Father's Day round. This Father's Day golf outing went very, very wrong. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon at the Raccoon Hill Golf Club in Kent, Ohio, chaos ensued with a six-way brawl at the golf course. Six men were seen aggressively tackling and beating each other in the middle of the course. It says, warning, adult language, King Rednecks, LOL. So the video features these fathers, who probably had a couple at the 18th hole before they went out, using foul language. And why not? It's Father's Day after all. Doctors told me I had anxiety and sent me home early. I had a deadly condition. A fit 28-year-old California man nearly died due to cardiac arrest after doctors mistook his sepsis for anxiety and sent him home. Being misdiagnosed at the UCLA hospital almost cost me my life, said 28-year-old Joe DuPont. He claimed this in an X-post describing his nearly fatal ordeal. Sepsis is the new killer, apparently. You've got to be careful now. If you get sepsis, you could die or lose limbs or anything else. Justin Timberlake mugshot caused by Justin Timberlake's mugshot lighting causes frenzy. Can I please get a new headshot at the Sag Harbor Police Department? People are asking. I must admit, apart from the bloodshot eyes, that is a pretty good picture. The Sag Harbor Police Department is bringing sexy back. Justin Timberlake has been the talk of Tinseltown this week after the 43-year-old pop sensation was arrested on a DWI charge. The hitmaker, who was allegedly enjoying a boozy evening with his friends at the American Hotel in Sag Harbor, reportedly told cops he had only downed one martini before climbing into his car, but still looked good, if that's what you're into. And to be fair, I'm not, but it still looked good. Just Up Oil activist attempting to target Taylor Swift's jet while she was in the UK. Two Just Up Oil activists were arrested after spray painting two private jets orange at Stansted Airport in the UK. The activists were reportedly attempting to target Taylor Swift's jet at the airfield, but did not manage to find it. This comes after two other activists were arrested for spraying Stonehenge on June the 19th. And yeah, although to be fair, Taylor Swift's personal jet is more of a target than Stonehenge. I don't agree with it, but I kind of get that. I don't agree with the targeting, but I do get it. Justin Timberlake's commercial about responsible drinking goes viral after DWI arrest. It's aged poorly, apparently. Another bad look for Justin Timberlake. A 2001 Budweiser commercial about drinking alcohol responsibly, starring the NSYNC, has resurfaced on social media after Justin Timberlake was charged for driving while intoxicated at the Hamptons on June the 17th. In the commercial, which aired during the 2001 Super Bowl, a father answers the door and is confronted by the members of the boy band, saying, "Don't drink and drive." Yeah, oopsie-daisy. Russia agrees to come to North Korea's immediate defence if ever attacked after Putin meets Kim Jong-un. A new agreement between Russia and North Korea reached by the leaders requires the countries to use all available means to provide immediate military assistance in the event of war, North Korea state media said. The North's official Korean Central News Agency, very trustworthy, reported the language of the Comprehensive and Strategic Partnership Agreement reached by Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. So yeah, a bit like NATO really, but smaller. Farage yanks UK Conservatives towards populism, giving the GOP a peek at its future. First came Brexit, then came Trump, and now it's happening again. In June 2016, Britain voted to leave the European Union. Now Brexit's mastermind, Nigel Farage, has returned to the fore of British politics. Remember, this is being reported in America. He's running in next month's general election, but Farage's real aim isn't to get a seat in Parliament. It is to replace the Conservative Party with a new populist force of his own creation. Yeah, will it happen? I think that Farage is going to be a lot more powerful than people give him credit for. I mean, I've even had people who vote Labour saying they're going to vote for reform because they prefer what Farage says to what Keir Starmer says, the leader of the Labour Party. It's all very weird. Trump's vice president pick will have little impact on voters. Choice for president despite fevered speculation. Donald Trump's upcoming vice presidential pick attracts attention and speculation daily. But if a new poll for the post is any indication, it's likely to be very much ado about nothing. So yeah, people don't really care. People everywhere are saying they're voting reform. Indeed, I think they're going to do remarkably well. We'll still get a Labour government. I agree with that, but I think Reform are definitely going to do remarkable things that people cannot see at the moment. Putin gives car. Putin gives car buff Kim Jong-un a fancy limousine and a dagger in a visit to North Korea. What does one dictator bent on world domination give another? Limos, tea sets and a dagger. During his first visit to North Korea in nearly a quarter of a century, Russian President Vladimir Putin came bearing gifts for the despot Kim Jong-un, with the big unveil being a Russian-made Arinus limousine. Kim, reportedly a major car enthusiast and collector, beamed as he jumped in the car and drove President Putin around. Now, if only there was a missile strike that we could have had there. Sorry. Too soon. Prince Harry can forget about reconciling with the royals if he publishes another tell-all, says experts. It's a resounding crash. Prince Harry has been warned to avoid writing a second book that's a follow-up to his tell-all memoir Spare, following the release of his protocol-shattering book in January last year. The Duke of Sussex revealed he has enough content to write more books about his experience in the royal family. Of course he does, he's in his 30s. And he was in the royal family for a long while. But no, the guy's an absolute loon at the minute, and it's all to do with Meghan Markle. She is the Yoko Ono of the royal family. I've said it before, I'll say it again, no doubt. Democrats not enthusiastic about Biden re-election, says a strategist. Well, no, because President Biden, sadly, is out of his depth at the moment. He is being pushed around from pillar to post. What is going on there? I don't know what's going on there. Pushed around from pillar to post. He's basically a very ill, a mentally ill man, being forced to do stuff that he shouldn't be forced to do. He should be in a nice retirement home somewhere, maybe the same one that President Carter's in at the minute, and just quietly retired and get someone new in, someone who actually has got some personality and isn't a walking corpse. I don't think Reform are ready to govern, I agree, but would prefer to take the risk on them before voting for Starmer. Elder abuse. I'm elder myself. Oh no, I see what you mean. Yeah, elder abuse, yeah. US and China hold first informal nuclear talks in 5 years, eyeing Taiwan. The United States and China resumed semi-official nuclear arms talks for the first time in 5 years, with Beijing's representatives telling US counterparts that they would not resort to atomic threats over Taiwan. I mean, that's good news, but they know that they've got us over a barrel, because they basically make everything that we use in the West now because of greedy companies who want to save money and don't think about the long-term consequences of jumping in bed with China. Jamie, hello. As long as they don't dismantle the NHS and mirror the Americans' health service. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that the Reform Party will do that is not good, but Labour scare me to death. Keir lies out of his backside. I don't think he lies. I think he's one of them who doesn't want to upset anyone. He won't answer a question, will he? I mean, he was asked in a recent television interview that, well, he was told, and he didn't deny, that he said in 2019, the last election, that Jeremy Corbyn would make a great Prime Minister. And did he mean it? And his reply was basically, paraphrasing, basically, I knew we weren't going to win that election, so, you know, it's irrelevant whether I meant it or not. I'm like, well, no, because you were convincing people to vote for Jeremy Corbyn and Labour by saying that he would make a good Prime Minister, but he wouldn't admit or wouldn't say that he meant it. And I'm like, well, what the hell do you mean? What are you on about? I mean, I genuinely hope that Labour do like the British football team and grab defeat from the jaws of victory, because if Labour get in, we are all absolutely monumentally No one knows what he's about. I don't think he knows what he's about, to be fair. Kate Middleton shares an adorable photo of Prince William with their kids on his 42nd birthday. It is an adorable picture, although they've cut out Princess Charlotte. Oops. Sexist. We've got Prince George's arm. We didn't need that necessarily, but we got rid of Charlotte's face. But anyway, yeah, it's just showing that it went worldwide, that photograph, and rightly so. It's a very great photograph. So we've seen it in Australia, and we've seen it in America, mate. Southwest Boeing 737 inexplicably dives and flies below 500 feet over a neighbourhood. And a quote was, "I thought it was going to hit my house." A Southwest Airlines commercial plane inexplicably dived while landing in Oklahoma City, flying less than 500 feet over a residential neighbourhood, setting off altitude alarms and frightening residents. Yeah, Boeing 737. Yeah, gotta trust them, haven't you? I mean, thankfully it didn't crash, but my God. The only option is to vote Reform. If everyone who voted Reform, they would have over 200 seats. Yeah, they'd have a lot more than 200 seats if everyone voted Reform. But you've got your diehards who'll always vote Labour or Tory, to be fair. Simpsons did it. Real life three-eyed fish discovery echoes cartoon predictions from 1990. Try, T-R-I, not to flip out, but the Simpsons have predicted the future again. The beloved animated sitcom enjoyed quite the reputation for seeing into the future during its 35-year run, teasing everything from Donald Trump as president to a failed attempt to recreate Willy Wonka's chocolate world in real life, not to mention Diddy's recent downfall. But they also predicted a three-eyed fish, and someone's found a three-eyed fish. What's to say they didn't find it first, but didn't tell anyone? I voted leave and would do again. I voted leave as well. More than 1,000 dead in this year's Hajj pilgrimage as Saudi Arabia faces extreme heat. We're getting extreme heat for the UK. America's getting extreme heat, and in Saudi Arabia they're getting extreme heat as well. Sadly, more than 1,000 Muslim pilgrims that travelled to Islam's holiest site in Mecca during this year's Hajj have died amid intolerable heat in Saudi Arabia, according to a report. The grim death toll from the trek, tallied by the news outlet AFP, showed 10 countries have reported over 1,000 deaths during the pilgrimage, which each Muslim is mandated to do once in their life. Many of them save up pretty much for their entire life so they can go on, because they don't do it for free. There's money to be made there, because let's be honest, money was created by religion, and religion was created by people who wanted to control people. All religion is created by people who wanted to control people, and obviously you would think if you have to go there once in a life, then the religion would pay for you to go there. But no, they won't make money that way. It's all about the money. Left-wing media trying to cover up Joe's obvious mental decline. Yeah, the pretends Biden shown leadership and more. Diary of disturbing disinformation and dangerous delusions. This charge, an insidious trend in the right-wing media, is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness, says one of Biden's people. No, the Biden's people are taking advantage of a very unwell elderly gentleman at the risk of the entire world's population. Surely they've got someone else who has got the ability to be programmed to say what they want to say, who's younger and actually knows what's going on. Justin Timberlake has no rehab plans after the DWI bust, but he does apologise to the tour crew. And again, there's that picture. I wish I looked that good in any picture, mind you. I'm a lot older than 42, so it's probably got something to do with it. Although when I was 42, I didn't look that good. Not fit to be president. No, and it's not his fault now. I don't believe it's his fault. He's being pushed by people in the background, and it's just not right. Hundreds of coffee products recalled over concerns of botulism contamination. I mean, Jesus. What a buzzkill. Hundreds of canned coffee products have been recalled over concerns of botulism contamination, the Food and Drug Administration reported this week. The products are produced by the Wisconsin-based company Snapchill LLC, which is voluntarily recalling more than 250 products that were distributed across the country to various roasters and vendors. So yeah, be wary. If you buy your coffee from America, you might get botulism. You probably don't, so you're probably going to be alright, but hashtag just saying. Hiya Georgia, hope you're well. You're new as well, so nice to have you on board. 2 teen swimmers go missing in waters of New York City's Jacob Riis Park. 2 teenage boys went missing while swimming in the waters of Jacob Riis Park in Queens on Friday night, police said. NYPD divers were out searching for the boys, who vanished shortly after lifeguards got off the clock. Now, we have this problem in the UK, and no doubt it's a problem worldwide, of people, usually teenagers, jumping into water when it's hot weather. We've already said that America's having a record-breaking heat wave at the moment. So obviously teenagers strip off, jump in the waters to cool off, but also to show off to people. But the water is not necessarily as hot as people think it is. You get that shock when you jump in the water. You take an inhalation of breath, but you're underwater, so you actually take an inhalation of water and you drown pretty much instantly. It's happened for decades. It will happen for decades more, sadly. What do you do to stop it? I don't know. But yeah, sadly, these boys were not found in a condition that was good. Yeah. Chicago homeowner fights off burglar with frying pan. My wife is not happy about the decision I made. A resourceful Chicago homeowner used a frying pan to battle a burglar who'd broken into his home. Dramatic security camera footage shows. Jason Williams was driving home from work when he got an alert from his alarm system that someone had forced entry into his house. So he bashed him around the head with a frying pan, but his wife is furious because they're going to have pancakes that night and all the shops were shut, so they couldn't buy a new frying pan. Think before you hit people with a frying pan. Terrified of escalation, Biden is being bluffed into losing Ukraine to Putin. History is watching the failure to support Ukraine at this critical moment and will not be forgotten. President Biden said on the 2-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, now is the time to prove that the United States stands up for freedom and bows down to no one. They were strong words. Too bad they were nothing more. Time and again, Biden has bowed down to Vladimir Putin, allowing the tyrant to dictate the terms of the conflict. Yeah, but that's because he's not really in charge, let's be honest. Passengers suffer nosebleeds and ear pain after a Boeing 737 MAX, again, cabin pressure system malfunctioned. 8 cabin pressure system malfunctions. A Boeing 737 MAX 8, again, second time in this broadcast, was forced to turn around and passengers began to suffer from nosebleeds and ear pain following a malfunction with the plane's cabin pressurization system. Is there anything that goes right with these planes? Would you get on one? I would not get on one. Oh, Dream Frequency, trust me, you're not wrong. We are coming to that. Vanna White might quit Wheel of Fortune. She doesn't jibe with Ryan Seacrest. Vanna White is considering leaving Wheel of Fortune following Pat Sajak's exit, according to a new report. A source recently told the Daily Mail in the UK, that White, who has been the game show's letter turner since 1982, is having a hard time without Sajak, who retired as host after 41 seasons earlier this month. White's contract is up in 2026, but the insider claims that there is a particular part of her that wants to walk away sooner. So, I mean, I don't like Ryan Seacrest. I mean, I've never met him, but when he did whatever he did in America that I watched, I thought he was an absolute... Smiley Mac, welcome! Better late than never, saying we can work it out when Smiley Mac... Anyway, China must pay the price for unleashing COVID-19. 4 long years after Anthony Fauci-led cabal sought to keep COVID's origins in a Chinese lab hidden from the public, with Beijing's active assistance, they were largely successful. Skeptics like myself, who suggested that Americans shouldn't buy China's Bat-Guan crazy story about the virus coming from a wet market, were dismissed as conspiracy theorists in the United States and attacked as racist by China. But yeah, apparently it's all true. It comes from a laboratory in China, so the laboratory is going to be sued, but probably not. Welcome back, Alan. Netanyahu claims dramatic drop in US weapons after Biden. WH denies decline. White House. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, war criminal, told his cabinet on Sunday that there had been a dramatic drop in US weapon deliveries from Israel's war effort in Gaza. Oh, well, that's a shame, isn't it? Doubling down on a claim that Biden administration has denied and underscoring the growing strains between the two allies. Netanyahu, war criminal, told his cabinet that the drop had occurred 4 months ago, without specifying which parts of the weapons were not being delivered. It's a shame, isn't it? You were away in Spain. You did pop in at one of the broadcasts and said hello. Dad dies after being trapped under a car for hours, and bystanders robbed him instead of helping. An Arizona father was crushed to death after being trapped under his family's car as he was trying to fix it, and bystanders robbed him instead of helping. Allegedly, his family said. Jeremiah Garcia, Gurel, was possibly stuck under the vehicle in a Phoenix parking lot for hours after the jack collapsed before someone called 911. By the time police got there, he was already dead, and his wallet and various other items were missing from his pockets. Yeesh. Who says humanity is dead? Trump jokes that UFC should start a migrant fight club, saying these people are tough. Former President Donald Trump mused that the UFC should start a migrant fight club and train asylum seekers and illegal immigrants to fight because migrants are tough, mean and nasty. During 2 speeches on Saturday, one before a gathering of Christian conservatives and then later a rally in Philadelphia, Trump floated the concept while recounting his hosting at the Ultimate Fighting Championship a few weeks ago, because yeah, that's what he does. I thought I came in but wasn't 100% sure. I was very tired. Okay. Why trees are the key to cooling a warming planet. They absorb carbon dioxide. They also offer shelter and shade. As temperatures soar across the East Coast, Midwest and Southeast, hundreds of millions of lives depend on air conditioning, powered by a grid that is strained to breaking point. The fatal toll of recent heat-related blackouts in India demonstrates the stunning risk climate change possesses to American cities, which rely on aircon even more than hidden Indian counterparts. Yeah, you've got to bear in mind, I suppose, that in the winter we have the heating on to keep warm, but in America every house has air conditioning, and they're big units and they are expensive units and they need electricity. So yeah, so what are you going to do? with the global warming, all the ice caps melting everywhere. What are the poor polar bears and penguins going to do? Yeah, I know. That's a really, 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 really poor way of bringing us to the next thing. Adventurous penguin shreds on bodyboard in South Africa. Adorable video shows. An adventurous penguin showed who was Big Kahuna in South Africa as it hopped on a surfer's bodyboard and took it for a ride. Yeah, basically we're teaching penguins how to surf because, well, it's funny. Vandals spray paints Elon on 34 new Tesla Cybertrucks in Florida. Vandals with an apparent vendetta against Tesla CEO Elon Musk sprayed Elon on 34 brand new Cybertrucks in Florida. Port Lauderdale police received a call around 8:30 on Thursday morning from a person reporting that the massive electric vehicles, which were in perfect condition the night before, had been defaced. Police told the Post in a statement, it was just one, and then a second row, and then a third row. Oh dear, poor Elon Musk. Trump backs displaying the Ten Commandments in all US schools following Louisiana's controversial mandate. It's just incredible. Former President Donald Trump endorsed displaying the Ten Commandments in all schools days after a controversial new law went into effect in Louisiana mandating classroom postings as anyone read the thou shalt not steal. So yeah, we'll live by the Ten Commandments, shall we? I mean, that's forward thinking, isn't it? Thou shalt not commit adultery. Yeah. Miss, what does thou shalt not commit adultery mean? Ask your dad. Boeing Starliner. Boeing! Third story. Astronauts are stuck at the International Space Station as engineers on Earth race against time to fix multiple problems. Boeing, we have a problem again. The return trip to Earth for the two NASA astronauts who rode into orbit on the troubled plagued company's Starliner have been delayed for a third time, with Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams cooling their heels actually at the International Space Station. Now the good news is, yeah, they both look like they've had full lives, so yeah. New York City holds Fat Beach Day to create accepting environment for plus size community, a space for people to be themselves. Now I do hate it when they use my body and put someone else's head on it. That was obviously taken when I went for a walk along the canal a couple of weeks ago, or it could have been a couple of days ago to be fair, because I did it then as well. I've cut the head off of the person because, you know, it should be my head on there. So imagine that body with my head on. I don't care, I'll be honest. I used to care when I was in my 20s and whatever about showing my body, but because I was too skinny. Now I'm too fat and I don't give a... So I'd even go on a nudist beach now, I'll be honest with you. Although I wear a hat. So I can pull it down so no one recognises me. It's one to make a splash. Fat Beach Day. I mean, that's slimmest, isn't it? I mean, talk about being fattest. Can you not go on there if you're slim? I mean, that's... oh, no. No. So I can imagine someone who's naked. Trump pushes for much larger Iron Dome missile defence systems in the US. Why don't we have it? Because it costs lots of money and it probably wouldn't work. Former President Donald Trump pledged to protect the US with much larger version of Israel's Iron Dome missile defence system if he wins a second term in the White House. In my next term we will build a great Iron Dome over our country. Have you seen how big a country is? A dome like has never been seen before. Yeah, absolute nonsense, Donald. Shut up and put your head back in a bucket. Don't think he's ever had his head in a bucket. He's had his head in Doris Daniels, but she's not a bucket. How do they work out who's fat or not? Just go up to strangers and say, "Hi you, yes, you the fat one. get on this beach. Yeah, I'd get on the beach, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'd get on the beach. I don't have a problem with that. Anyway, that brings us to the news that makes you go, and all the other things as well. So this is where we look at news that's a bit more light-hearted. Thank God, because the news is so depressing at the moment. And we start with, where is it? This one, which is in the wrong place, but we'll go with it anyway. This is from a programme that I don't like. I'm one of the few people in the UK that doesn't like this programme. Everyone else likes it. It's Only Fools and Horses. And this is one of the characters from Only Fools and Horses. Yeah, well, there it is. So I think it's the same guy who says, I've had this brush for 21 years. It's only had 3 new handles and 4 new brush heads in that time. Fuel prices going up don't affect me. I only ever put £20 in. Yep. That is Dave. I've never watched it. No. I get the funny clips, the chandelier, the falling through the bar, the Batman and Robin. I get all that. I do get all that. What I don't get is the... I've never seen... Oh my God, I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one. Apparently no one who watches my channel have ever watched it. Anyway, let's move on, shall we, to things that make you go, really? Make people think you're a politician by thanking them for their question when they ask you something and adding that their question is very good and then don't answer it, which is brilliant. Classic British comedy, says Jamie. Indeed, apparently. Remember last week we covered the horrific story of a calf being run over twice. Turns out it was 5 times by a police car because they couldn't think of any other way of stopping it because it was a calf. I mean, look at the size of it. I mean, yeah, it might knock you over if it ran into you, but it's probably more scared of you than it is of it. You can see from the blow picture with the circle around it, the calf under the vehicle. Anyway, the good news is the calf survived and ended up at an animal sanctuary before being shipped off and sent to a slaughter. And I must admit, the sausages were beautiful. Have you ever had this when you... this is more of a man's thing, because women don't have urinals. But have you ever had this? Well, just imagine if the person in blue is actually a person in red. Are you ready for this? My dad's a toolmaker. Yep, it's Keir Starmer. I mean, I didn't know his dad was a toolmaker, but apparently his dad was a toolmaker. Little known fact, not only was he a toolmaker in a tool factory, he owned the factory. Dave was starting to think his mum wasn't coming back. Wouldn't it be funny if they said Russia? You can't say what these days. Your dad is a toolmaker. He's told us a million times. Yeah, I mean, if you watched, what's it called? Have I Got News for You? They said on there that, why didn't anyone heckle him and say, well, we know that because they made you a tool. Oh, women don't use them. Oh, no, you're right, sorry. Oh, I do apologise to any women who do use urinals with a wee pee, me pee, or whatever it is. I just pulled the door handle off. Safe to say that was as surprised as I was. Indeed. I've seen this before, but not this actual picture, but I've seen people do it before. A group of Canadians vandalised a police parking lot by turning the cars into cars, basically. Electric vehicles owners should only be allowed to charge their cars using wind and solar power. Otherwise, it's only pretend, and that is true. And I think that's the car that went round Australia using the solar panels. No, I think it's improvement, to be fair. It's called vandalism because they don't want to upset people. Red onions are clearly purple, a man holds up a sign. And you know what? He's right. Why have we never seen it before? Have I got news for you? It's been reported that thousands of letters from Boris Johnson will be mailed out this weekend in an attempt to stop reform. Either that, or he's just sending back replies to all his Father's Day cards. Because he's a notorious womanizer. Smiley Mackie is going to lose his status. I went to Bradford and back in a Lecky car on Monday. It was great. When you say to Bradford and back again, do you mean it took you like 8 hours to get there because you had to keep stopping to charge up, and then the same coming back? So you literally drove to Bradford, and then just turned around and come back again. Poor blind woman didn't see it coming. Oh dear. Ugh. Wayne Rooney and Peter Crouch are excited for the Euros. I love this one as well. When you really want to mess with your ODC neighbours, and it's a door that is square in it. Yeah, it's just brilliant. Just as quick as a normal car. Yeah, it's not though. Canada uses pothole stickers to slow down traffic. The UK prefers to use 3D techniques, i.e. real potholes. Long-term car park. Armand Pierre Fernandez long-term parking in 1982, an exhibition of cars that were just basically encased in concrete. Again, genius. I went in an electric vehicle to Manchester. It was awful. If only trains ran on time. Convince people you've been to Turkey by simply putting a train ticket in your mouth. There you go, Smiley Mac. You mentioned trains and instantly we have an image of a train ticket. But again, genius. This is to do with the Euros, probably the only reference I'm making apart from the previous one. Scott's home early. And it's a Mickey take of the M&M's advert when Scott comes home early. Scott's home early. Scott's home early. No. Sorry, that joke was rubbish. You could say it was bang out of order. See what we did there? It's like this thing is thrown together. It is, to be honest. In 1983, Chuck Norris was involved in a shark attack. This is the only picture, the only known picture of the incident, and it's Chuck Norris kicking a shark in the face. Back to Have I Got News for You. Nigel Farage is reportedly charging constituents £3.41 to meet him at a campaign event, which seems suspiciously similar to the cost of a pint of Doom Bar in Wetherspoons. Everyone's having a go at Nigel Farage, but I think he's going to be more powerful than you think. I'm not so sure about the new flavour of Greg's slices. When you see it, you see it. Spotted in Greg's. Oh, that way. You can see it? The bottom. Down the bottom there. Down the bottom. Down the bottom. Spotted in Greg's. Down the bottom. Down there, you can see it. It's a pigeon! Yay! Pigeon in Greg's. What could possibly go wrong? How much to pay not to see him? He's going to be a very powerful man very soon indeed. Young pigeon. Whoa, what's going on there? Cancel that. Click on that. There we go. Properties. It's all gone a bit wrong now. There we go. There's public demand for Labour's election broadcast of Gary Neville interviewing Sir Keir Starmer to There's public demand for Labour's election broadcast of Gary Neville interviewing Keir Starmer to air later than 1930, so viewers can all nod off at the decent time. It was incredibly dull, and it kind of showed the personality of Keir Starmer. That pigeon's got more personality. Did you know my dad's a toolmaker? Well, he made you during Frequency, so yeah. I'll take a sausage roll, a Coke, a donut, and I feel that pigeon rounds it off well. Very good. Give cyclists space is written on a sign that's completely blocking a cycle lane. Love it. Anything that upsets cyclists is good for me. We did mention it earlier on, but Donald Sutherland passed away, aged 88. In an emotional post, his son Kiefer called him one of the most important actors in the history of film, and you have to say he did a hell of a lot. He loved what he did and did what he loved, and one can never ask more than that. A life well lived. Sutherland starred in diverse array of productions, including Don't Look Now, which is what the picture's from, MASH, the movie, Clute, The Dirty Dozen, Ordinary People, the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, JFK, Kelly's Heroes, and The Hunger Games. And in 2017 he received an Academy Honorary Award. He was a great actor, very good at what he did. They didn't mention he appeared in Cloudbusting video with Kate Bush. Newcastle Uncovered. When you ask a Geordie what a wine cellar is used for, alcohol storage, pet. That's more Scottish. Why, I'm man, alcohol storage, pet. I can't believe that's a real. They've really put that up on that. That looks like I'm not familiar with the shop, but it looks like a range sign rather than a supermarket sign. So it could be, you know, alcohol storage, pet. Maybe not. Guy Venables on the news. That very stinky corpse flower has just bloomed in Kew. This is the flower that looks like a sexual organ. The Titan Aron corpse flower, and it smells of rotting flesh, and only blooms on very, very rare occasions. So there's a picture, it's a cartoon, and there's the Thames Water guy, and he says it smells okay to me, because Thames Water famous for chucking raw sewage into the River Thames and various other rivers and waterways as well. Now this shows the humour of the current F1 drivers, which is one reason why I like the F1 circuit at the minute. For sale, sorry, I'm laughing already, I've not even read it out yet. For sale, high security access card for Mercedes HQ. Buyers must be shirtless and to match original owner's identity. And it's George Russell pass, and it says serious offers only, thanks. So that was posted by Lando Norris on his social media, and George Russell, famous for many photographs on his social media being shirtless. I mean, I think it's a bit sad when you just think that being shirtless is a cool thing to do. You will never get me doing that on a regular basis. Well, that reminds me, my weekly vlog will be going up later. George Russell responds, professional and then racing driver crossed out, pickpocket, and then reposts the post, which, again, it just shows the banter between these guys and the racing they did as well. Today's race was amazing. Some of the overtakes, I mean, George Russell on the first corner was outstanding, and then George Russell and Max Verstappen on the same corner later on, outstanding, and then George Russell and Lando Norris, outstanding. What's me way? Domestic abusers cannot own guns in the US. The Supreme Court rules. Damn right. If you're convicted of any violent crime, you should not be allowed to have a gun. To be fair, the majority of people who have guns in America should not be allowed to have guns because they're all fucking mad, but you know. Ricky Gervais, remember when you are dead. You do not know you are dead. It is only painful for others. The same applies when you are stupid. Fantastic. That's not a good sign. Prince Andrew's close is a street sign. Yeah, that's not a good sign. Laughing cow. Get cows sweaty and the world will be a safer place, scientists claim. Scientists from the University of Florida believe sweaty cows could help save us from global warming as they stop eating and breeding when they get too hot, which reduces beef and milk production. So it all sounds like a win-win. Sweaty cows, less global emissions. I have over 20 guns. No, it's got to be 68 guns will never die. 68 guns our battle cry. You ain't got 68 guns, and you ain't trying. I've got to sound the alarm. Small grey, hairy aliens used mind control to avoid UFO crash recovery. It says an absolute nah. According to the new release document, citing a story published in 1999, small grey aliens living somewhere in the Nordic region use mind control to hide a UFO crash site. Either that, or there's no UFOs, therefore there's no crash site. UK drink drive limit could shrink to just one small drink after urgent warning. The UK drink driving limit could be cut to the equivalent of one small glass of wine under new plans being proposed by doctors that are backed by motoring groups. If I have any alcohol at all, even a couple of sips from a can, I will not drive. The only time I will drive, if I've had a drink, if it's less than half a can and it is an absolute emergency. And it's only happened twice in my life. Indian Nostradamus predicts World War III starts today. Yeah, this was on Wednesday. How first few hours will play out. Now, we were talking about World War II starting earlier on. I think it was Smiley Mac, or somebody mentioned it. Where was it? It's up here somewhere. No, it wasn't. World War III, World War III, World War III. World War III, World War III, World War III, World War III, World War III. Who mentioned World War III? Who mentioned World War III? Alright, we've got all the way down to the bottom. I did that. Anyway, whoever it was you during frequency. Okay, let's have a look. Because I did say we'll come to that later. Oh yeah, there you go. World War III incoming. Well, yeah, apparently it should have started on Tuesday. If predictions by an Indian Nostradamus are to be believed, and the Daily Star turned to Google's AI software to find out how it'll play out. It'll be cyber warfare. Brit teen Jay Slater missing in Tenerife. What we know and don't know so far. Jay Slater went missing in Tenerife over the weekend. It was Monday. But his disappearance and comments from friends and family have left the public with far more questions than actual answers. It does remind me of the case of the lady who disappeared near the well, what was it? She disappeared near the river. But yeah. UK faces high-risk threat as experts warn week-long excessively hot weather. Exacta Weather's James Madden has issued an ominous warning to Brits as heatwave is coming, which could lead to serious health complications for many after the run of cooler weather. I, for one, can't wait for warm weather. I mean, I don't particularly want to die from it, but I can't wait for it. Missing MH370 search twist as nuclear sensor may have picked up crucial sound. The missing Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 could have been detected by a network of underwater sensors monitoring pressure changes in the ocean as part of a nuclear explosion detection system. Now, I kind of hope that this is a lost situation, but a happy ending lost, where the plane has vanished. Some kind of weird time vortex and reappear again in the future, and the people on board will have no comprehension of the time difference or anything. But I fear it has crashed into the sea somewhere. But I also think that a plane crashing into the sea is not going to be picked up by something that's looking for nuclear bombs going off, because I'm pretty sure a plane crashing into the sea, no matter at what angle and what speed, is going to create as much of a shockwave as a nuclear weapon going off. I'd rather a heat wave. Nicola Booley, that's it, that's who I was thinking of, Alan, thank you. I'd rather a heat wave than Prince Andrew being close. Yes, indeed. Portuguese man-of-war jellyfish might invade Brit beaches as temperatures are about to soar to 30 degrees. They are deadly as well. Do not go near one of these things. They've also got incredibly large tentacles, which are highly venomous. If you get stung by one of them, you will die, because we don't have the stuff here, because they don't get here normally. Historian shares truth behind Stonehenge after bonkers conspiracy theories. More than 1 million people visit Stonehenge every year, and there are countless conspiracy theories about the site. Thankfully, historian has revealed what academics actually think it was used for. And that's right, it was a tumble dryer. Yep, you don't need to know anymore. This is hilarious. Gary Lineker poses for Next, but fans say it looks like he's in Chernobyl. Gary Lineker teamed up with high street retailer Next to launch a clothing range, but fans have been left in stitches at one promotional picture, which they said looked like though he'd been taken to Chernobyl. We can live it up. I used to like Gary Lineker back in the day, but nah. How to scare off a woman. Hi, I have toxic tentacles, says Smiley Mac. Yeah, very good. Most Brits on holiday prefer to scoff full English than try local cuisine. Now, I only discovered this picture and headline today because I'm really behind with preparing for today's show. But today at the shop, I've discussed with a number of people, why do we bother going on a holiday? I mean, I don't, abroad. I don't go on holiday, I don't get days off or anything like that. I don't moan about it, I quite enjoy not going on holiday. Get bored out of my skull if I went on holiday. But you hear Brits going on holiday and they look for the first English pub, and then they go and buy fish and chips and stuff like that. Why? Some Brits on tour have even admitted to seeking out packets of Monster Munch or beans on toast rather than taste the local delicacies of wherever they're visiting. Now, don't get me wrong, if I went abroad, I'd probably have a nibble of a local delicacy, and I'm not being, it's not me being rude, but I probably would prefer to eat stuff that I was familiar with. But people who just do that, 100%, nah. Gen Z admit to snacking while going for a number 2 in mucky toilet habit. A lot of people use their phones on the toilet, but now young adults are grabbing a snack to take with them while they do their business. Some even eat in the shower. Why? How? Is that not really soggy? Yeah, I've only ever once been on the toilet having a number 2 and eating. I had an emergency call, and when I got to the toilet, I realised I was sat on the toilet and I realised I had an apple in my hand. So I took a bite of the apple, and whilst I was doing a number 2, I couldn't swallow. It's like you can't have both openings up at the same time. Interesting fact. But no, I don't take my phone. When I'm on the toilet, I'm on the toilet. You know, I do what I need to do, which is either number 1 or number 2, and then I leave. I don't sit there for 20 minutes or whatever. That's ridiculous. So there's never too much information, Alan. There's never too much information. This channel is warts and all. You should know that by now. You've been here long enough. Oh, I went all a bit northern then. But I'm northern, so that's fine. Don't forget, like, share, and join in the chats as well. And if you want, you can subscribe. You don't have to. Don't feel like obliged or anything. Russian hero says Kim Jong-un's troops won't go to Vlad's war for 3 reasons. So Kim Jong-un has said, "Oh yeah, we'll back you all the way," but now a Russian hero says that he won't do because, well, he hasn't got the troops. He hasn't got the money to send them there. He just wants Russia to protect him. Which is fair enough, I suppose. Chances of superheat wave, as experts say, when UK will bake in temperatures above 30 degrees centigrade. It's James Madden again. Exactus weather meteorologists conceded it's difficult to call on any possible expansions in weather fronts, but said there's still a moderate chance of a superheat wave in June. It's happening tomorrow. It's happening overnight tonight. Get your shorts out, people. Get your legs out. I'll get everything else out as well. Well, not everything else. No. Meghan Markle is deluded. Yep, that's true. That's all we need to read on that one. So we'll move on to the next thing. Sorry, it's more funny if I just ignore the rest of it and just go with that. Elon Musk, oh God, reckons there is a 10 to 20% chance humans will be annihilated by AI. But he said it won't be for a while yet, because he is part AI. Drew Frequency just bought a load of shorts. Excellent. Indian Nostradamus claims World War III kicks off next week, after his prediction of it kicking off this week failed. Indian Nostradamus, known to his family and friends as Kushil Kumar, made a bold World War III start date prediction, which was wrong. So he's returned now with a new date. So just keep saying it'll be next week, and at some point it'll be right. Oh, yeah, okay then. Brit teen Jay Slater missing in Tenerife. What we know and don't know so far. Oh no, we've done that one. Have we got that one on twice? I don't understand that. Aliens have 100% visited Earth and actually protect humans, the professor suggests. Dr. Gary Nolan, 2 R's in Gary, so that's pretentious for a start, a professor of pathology at Stanford University, said that unidentified anomalous phenomena provide a planetary defence acting as protection to humans, but not protection to humans from humans. And aren't humans aliens anyway? Is all life on Earth alien? Valley near where Jay Slater partied is full of thieves and has a road to hell. A number of TripAdvisor reviews of the Masca Valley in Tenerife, close to where Jay Slater was last seen, bemoan the treacherous roads and apparent proliferation of thieves. Now, expect a review incoming. I've got a pack downstairs. I've just not got around to it because I couldn't be arsed this week. Hurricane Knobbly Crisp spotted in Tesco, and Bricks can't help but joke. Tesco shelves have been stocked with Insane Cane crisp this week, and many shoppers have been left giggling after the baked knobbly sticks have been spotted in the shops. I'll be doing a full review. Well, I won't be doing. We'll be getting Harry Kane's brother, Barry Kane. He'll be doing the review, and I'll be saying that these are really great. I think I enjoyed them. Superheat wave hit UK earlier than expected as night temperatures to soar. The superheat wave was originally predicted to arrive in the UK mid-July, but newly revised data from Exacta Weather actually shows that it could become earlier than first thought. Tonight. Just said tonight. I've already said it. I've already said tonight. Missing Brit Jay Slater spotted walking alone in Tenerife before disappearing. A local from Tenerife has shared details about 2 British men Jay Slater was last seen with before he went missing on the Spanish island on Monday morning. It does sound absolutely horrific. Uri Geller says aliens are coming after Just Stop Oil because they spray Stonehenge orange. Famous psychic, come on, Uri Geller, allegedly, issued a warning following the incident at Stonehenge, saying these type of structures produce power, and the fact that someone tried to desecrate or damage it is a massive insult, so the aliens are coming after Just Stop Oil. Good, I hope aliens do exist, and I hope they do wipe out Just Stop Oil, and then Hamas, and then Benjamin Netanyahu, then Putin, then Tony Blair, George W. Bush. I think they're the main war criminals who are still alive at the moment. So yeah, we'll be happy with them, thank you. Humans could be wiped out by the Last of Us type fungi apocalypse, warns a professor. A Last of Us style fungi apocalypse could wipe out humankind, with an expert claiming that the type of scenario portrayed in the Smash It TV show is not a fantasy. Just Stop Oil are cranks. You misspelt that. You put an R and A instead of a U. Or you put a K instead of a T. But other than that, yeah, I agree. I can't criticise you for your spelling though, can I? Jay Slater's mum shares new sighting in the search for missing teenager. Missing Jay Slater's mother said she will stay in Tenerife for as long as it takes, as it emerges a new sighting of her son is believed is being investigated on this Spanish island by the Spanish police. Jay Slater's mum claims vicious trolls are comparing her to Karen Matthews. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Karen Matthews was the mother of a 9-year-old girl who went missing in the UK for a week or 2 weeks, and there was lots of publicity and all this kind of stuff, and it turned out that Karen Matthews had arranged all this with her brother or someone who the family knew, and her daughter was being held against her will in a flat so that they could raise money to find her and all this kind of stuff, and she ended up in prison for it. Now, Jay Slater's mum being compared to Karen Matthews, I think, is beyond harsh. Hopefully there is a perfectly reasonable explanation for what's gone on, whether it's good news or bad news, but I do worry that people just take to social media and just come out with all this nonsense because they can. I just hope the family get closure one way or another from this. Meanwhile, and we end with the most startling most startling revelation so far. Cadbury's fans wowed as Eyebrow Kid looks completely different 15 years after the ad. It's been 15 years since the iconic Cadbury's eyebrow advert hit our screens, but one of the stars of the ad, Bradley Ford, can still pull off the unique forehead bending moves, which is obviously the boy in the background, but he looks completely different from what he did when he was about 11 or 12. 15 years later. Who'd have thought someone would look completely... They do this all the time. A child actor looks completely different now 50 years after they starred in Mary Poppins or whatever. It's like, for God's sake, people grow up, people change physically. And also, he can't do the eyebrow thing because he said on other programmes that they had tape and wires and they were pulled from behind to make the eyebrows do what they did. You've not seen the advert, don't bother, it was rubbish. You're better off watching the advert for with the monkey playing the drums. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. That one. Much better. Much better. Anyway, it's time for breaking news. This is a bit I'm worried about now. Having Dream Frequency giving us some possible breaking news earlier. Vulnerable Varga stable in hospital after collision for Hungary against Scotland. Scientists discovered that people who live past 90 have key differences in their blood. Oh, my mum's 89. So, no. Oh, hang on, this is going all weird. Lewis Hamilton ran me off the track. Judgment leaves signs questioning FIA rules. Wearing the same dress as someone else is no longer a social faux pas. Someone did it on the question time thing. There was a woman in a flowery dress, and in front of her there was a woman in a flowery dress. They weren't the same size flowery dress, but they were appropriate for the people wearing them. Britain's Queen of Pottery slumps to £1.4 million loss. That's very sad. The hidden tax on your energy bills that will soar under Labour's net zero plan, says the Daily Telegraph. Heat wave coming, but do not expect it to last, says the Daily Telegraph. All flights to Manchester Airport terminals cancelled after the power cut, but that was 10 hours ago. Hopefully they've got it working now. 10 morning symptoms that mean you could have common health condition. Yeah, not enough sleep. Like I've said on my vlog, but you haven't seen it yet. I went to bed at 9:30 last night because I was tired. Thought I'll have a nap. Yeah, woke up at 3 o'clock. I fed the cat, went back to bed, didn't wake up until 10:30. I was late for work. I was tired. Gambling Commission investigates others as Tory betting scandal deepens. You're not saying it wouldn't be the same if it was Labour in power, and you know. Dagestan attack, 6 people, 6 police officers and a priest dead after gunmen open fire in Russia. Crews fight large fire at a building in Paisley in Scotland. Crimean sunbathers struck by deadly shrapnel shower from a Ukrainian missile. Labour would drop guidance banning schools from teaching gender ideology. Oh right, so Labour would allow my grandson and other children to get very confused about gender ideology, would you? Well, that's bullshit. That's definitely not voting for Labour then. Let's have a look what we got on here. UK importers making deliberate errors on forms to avoid Brexit border charges. Fair play. 6 climate protesters run on to 18th green and spray powder, delaying the finish of the PGA Tour events. That was 2 hours ago. Study sheds light on why some people do not get COVID-19. I've had COVID-19, but I've been very lucky with it. Oh, Prince William did some dancing at the Taylor Swift gig, apparently. 7 warning signs that you're eating too much salt. Your skin goes crispy is one of them. And I think blue plaques unveiled for stars including Sir Norman Wisdom and Leslie Grantham. Leslie Grantham, Dirty Den. Wasn't he like a flasher on channels of where you can get your bits out and do stuff? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong, but it seems a bit weird to give them a plaque saying how great they were as Dirty Den. Small parties surge offers opportunity and risk for Labour as big 2 vote share poised to fall. So yeah, that's because people are thinking of voting Lib Dems and people are thinking of voting Reform rather than the other two. What's that? That's 15 hours ago, so we're not listening to that one. It's not breaking news, is it? I think that's it then. So let's go off that. And we'll go back on it again, so we've got another breaking news. Wasn't he convicted of murder in real life? No, he wasn't convicted of murder. He was convicted of getting his tackle out. He wasn't convicted. He admitted to getting his tackle out online, which isn't a crime. I mean, if someone's prepared to look at you with your bits out, and you're prepared to get your bits out, then that's not a crime. If you do it in a park or something, that's a crime. That's not a crime, to be fair. You can be naked in public as long as you're not doing anything indecent. But that's not the point. It's just frowned upon. It just seems a bit weird. That's all. No, he wasn't found convicted of murder. Leslie Grantham was not convicted of murder. I'm going to Google it. I'm not going to Google it, but I'm going to go on here and have a quick look at what is going on in the world. X search. Green Day. I don't know what happened with Scotland because I don't care. Right, yeah, Jay Slater. There are people putting statements up online about Jay Slater. He's still missing, that's most people are saying, he's still missing. But there's also stuff about what he may or may not have done and may not be the innocent victim that people are saying and that kind of thing, so we'll have to wait and see. He was charged with murder. To be fair, I don't think he murdered anyone in EastEnders. Maybe he did. Anyway, that is it. Quite a lot of people to get through today as well, because there's been a lot of chat. So a big shout out to Alan Barton, T, Dream Frequency, Kieran, Michael Bates, Stephen LFC, Kelly and Rollo. Dream Frequency, I think we're done. Urban Blondes, JT and Rachel, Andrew Emerson, Retropus, Q, always leave a gap, Jamie, who else have we had? That might be it. Always give a shout out to people who've been online and spoke. We've got 5 views at the minute. We've had 7 likes. We've had 94 views overall. The highest view numbers we've had has been 12 in fairly recently, that as well. We've got a chat rate of 1. So yeah, that's all good and hunky dory. Whoops, we're on 1. There we go. I've been on for 2 hours and 8 minutes. So not really. I want to go to an hour and a half, I said. Yeah, 2 hours and 8 minutes. Anyway, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Indeed, if indeed you are. It might be tomorrow night, and it might be, Tuesday. More like it'll definitely be Tuesday because I'll be doing my drive to my mum's. So definitely Tuesday. But obviously, I don't interact on Tuesday because, well, can't see the screen for a start. But yeah. That's for the drive. I still need to do the look at the manifestos, so I've got them all now, so I need to go through them and pick out my favourite policies from each party, and we will find out. Chat rate, it's basically it's usually 0, to be fair, but if you have a lot of people on your channel, the chat rate goes up quite a bit. So it might go up to 2, 3 or 4 if lots of people are talking. If it goes over 5, I think you've got the opportunity then to slow down the chat, so you'll only see a certain number of chaps, or only a certain number of people can chat at any one time. But I've never got to that stage. I never will get to that stage, to be fair. But yeah, Reforms is good. I've read Reforms. There's more to it than Stop the Bowls, give them that. And there's not a lot more to it than Stop the Bowls, but there is more to it than Stop the Bowls. So yeah, but of course the thing is, and I said this with at the last election in 2019 when I did a couple of shows on that Jeremy Corbyn can promise anything he wants because he's not going to get in. He's not going to be the Prime Minister, so you can say whatever you want. And I think Reform can do that as well. But if they do get in, then they are a little bit, as is probably the country as well. So hopefully they won't get in. But anything can happen. Anything literally can happen. Anyway, that is it. I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Indeed, you still are. I'll be seeing you. Until then. Bye. They'll go.